Welcome to the Morning Walk Podcast. With each engaging, entertaining, and eclectic episode, along with a few special guests, we'll explore the ever-changing world of television, streaming series, films, and even current events. Because we're open-minded and embrace a diverse audience, the entertainment factor is over the top. And now your host, Mr. Unstoppable, aka Mr. Make It Happen, Don Gregory, with special guest, Belle Landis.
You know what I saw in the news that was kind of sad, but it's one of those things that kind of have you on the fence if you think about it. A young girl, I'm not saying that she is because I'm not sure. I'm just going by the video that I saw. She looked like either the school is primarily Muslim or some kind of, because there's a lot of girls that's Muslim in there. I don't know if it's a Muslim school. It just looked like it was real strict. For what I read in the story, they were instructed not to. The principal instructed the parents not to yell, scream, and all of that while they were reading the names to come and get your diploma. So this particular young lady, in her Muslim outfit, she did what a lot of kids do. She got up and she did the gritty across the stage to get her diploma. The principal was like, nah. And put that shit back in the basket.
Yeah, seen the video. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
It's sad, man. It's one of those, because it's true. I'm not sure if they were warned or not. That's first. And then two, I mean, you only graduate high school one time. Why you just, you could have just read it to her, read it a riot act and then gave her, because they don't really give you a diploma right then and there. It's a little paper. It's like a fake joint. It's not really a real diploma. But the whole point being is you took her, I know she did something that she wasn't supposed to do, right? According to, because I don't know if she was told not to do that or not, but I knew she did something that I guess technically she wasn't supposed to do. But you don't take a moment away from her like that. And embarrass her too, because she took the joint and just had to just kind of like walk back to a chair with no diploma on her day.
That's fucked up.
And I just think it was a bit much. Like, it was a bit much. Like, you could have stopped them and like, listen, chill out. You could have stopped the whole thing. You're the principal. You could have stopped the whole thing. You could have paused the ceremony and said, listen, there ain't gonna be no dancing up here. You do it again, you ain't getting your diploma. You could have said something. I mean, I just don't think you take a kid's day away from them in that way.
That was too much. That went too over the board.
Yeah,
past the line.
Because she was embarrassed. She was all the way embarrassed, like all the way embarrassed. And like I said, it's 12th grade. It's your last. That's the last thing you're gonna do in that school. And now you didn't when made her like a laughing stock too. You know what I mean? I just don't think that was right. I just think it was a bit unnecessary. You know what I mean? And if she had did something like just pulled the dress off and it was like a 2-piece under it or something, or
she had to walk across the stage twerking or something.
Yeah, just something that's a little bit out the way. You know what I mean? I just, if it would have been something like that, then I'd have been like, all right. But make a long story short, she shouldn't have took her shine away from her like that. I'm sure her parents was embarrassed. I'm sure.
I would.
Because just think about it. Just think about it. Like, your people's come to see you. Right?
Yeah.
And she did a gritty thing and all of that, but the principal should have thought about those people too. Like, there's people that's been sitting in these chairs. There's people that's saying that came to see her, have her moment. You took that away from her. You took that away from her. You dig me? Like, you took that away from her by doing that. Like, there's no need to do that. Like, you should just, grabbed her by her hand, not like an aggressive manner, just say, listen, calm down. Don't do that no more. Be an example. Gave her a little pep talk or something like that. And then the other kids would have been like, yeah, I ain't want none of that. She just grabbed her. You didn't do that. You just took her moment, like, and sent her back to a chair without a diploma. Sad.
In a startling turn of events, a singer-songwriter from Van Nuys and her fitness influencer friend have been arrested on charges of trafficking over 200 pounds of cocaine. The incident took place in Alabama, where the two women were apprehended while driving on Interstate 10. The arrest has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, shedding light on the dark underbelly that can lurk beneath the glamorous facade. This blog post
delves into the details of the case, exploring the identities of the individuals involved and the implications of their alleged actions.
You got two young ladies, both ambitious, attractive girls, and both have talent, right? One girl is from Houston, Atlanta. Her name is Melissa DeFore, 36 years old. Oh, I'm sorry, she's not from Florida. 36 years old. She is from Florida, but they were on their way from Houston to Atlanta with this coke in the car. So Melissa DeFore, she's been on TV. She has her own clothing line. It's basically like, thought stuff, onesies and, stuff for strippers, stripper uniform, I heard somebody say on the internet. She ran track and field. She was part of the weightlifting club. What happened to her was, at some point during the course of the pandemic, while she was a waitress, she lost her job. Then something else happened. She lost another job. So she just turned to entrepreneurship to get herself by and wind up turning into something to me successful. Regardless of whatever you're selling, if you're selling, then you're successful. And again, it's video of her out there on TV, promoting her brand and stuff like that. Then you turn to, I'm gonna call her Rocky because that's what her stage name is. Rocky is talented. Like, I was surprised. Like, how you see somebody and they singing and you hear that they can sing and you're like, yeah, she probably can't really sing. And then you listen to it like, sis can really sing. Come to find out, she's been on a record with Tank, Chris Brown, and a bunch of other people. She had, I think it was either in 2021 or 2020, something like that. She was in like 3 songs in 1 year, something like that. Or between 2021 and 2022, she was in like 3 songs that were known, but I guess they weren't that successful. So maybe that's what landed her where she is. But could she sing? Yes. So it was so much to the point I was like surprised. Like, she was really talented. And she's doing this kind of shit. I was just surprised to hear about that. So the second piece to that is, I was thinking to myself, I guess people would do anything to have that Instagram lifestyle. So these girls go on a road trip. They're on their way from Houston, making their way to Atlanta, and they get pulled over. What happened was, cops did textbook what cops do. They got them out the car, they separated them, and when the stories did not match, they brought the drug dogs out. And once that happened, that was it. They had a secret compartment in the car, and a couple of places in the back. They dropped the floor of the car a little bit so they could add, some more, I guess, room for, the dope or whatever the case may be. And right now they trying to turn it into a federal case from just a regular case because there was so much coke involved. But again, one of the things I find sad about this story is that you had 2 people who were ambitious. They had talent. Like, they had all the tools they need. Neither one of them, they're not, not that it matters, but they're not unattractive women. They both are talented, and they turned to that, like, to try to get ahead. And I tell you what, even if they, $2 to $3 million worth of coke, I guarantee you that they were not going to get a big percentage of that coke. And a lot of people say, how blah, blah, blah. But I'm telling you, I don't believe they were getting a big percentage of it. They probably were getting a few thousand, something like that, like maybe 10 grand a piece. Drive this over there, we'll give you a quick 10 grand. Or they probably already got the 10 grand. But whoever it is, whoever coke it was, I hope they on the run right now, because I tell you what, first of all, Rocky, she got a nice voice. And to keep herself from doing that time, I'm sure she gonna sing like a bird. I can tell you right now. I can tell you that right now. In addition to that, whatever her name is, Melissa DeFore, the one that work out, she ain't working out nothing but a deal with that DA. She ain't trying to go to jail, none of that. And you feel bad for them. I feel bad for both of them, because are they talented? Yeah, they both talented girls, but they just do it all the way, I guess, trying to keep that lifestyle up.
Yep. That's all I'm saying. Like, people do outrageous shit. You know what I mean? And even like these platforms, going back to what you said about the platforms, like, I'm just like, how does bitch get so many followers? Like, and then I see the stuff they do, like, is like, forget my family seeing all that stuff that I do hold dear. Like, I had a couple of videos I was ready to load up, but I felt like my brother following me now, that's inappropriate. I don't want him to see that shit. You understand what I'm saying? So, but I'm sure they have family and they post that stuff, like, because what Cardi B say? Oh, anything for the clout, man. Anything for the clout. anything. You gonna embarrass your family,
For sleeping in her car while her kids are crammed into her sister's small home. All because she says her DeKalb County apartment is unlivable as management tries to fix it. 11 Alive John Shurk explains now why she's stuck as management makes repairs.
Since August, she's been trying to get management to fix the plumbing and leaks and flooding in her family's apartment.
It kept flooding. It kept flooding.
Precious Bankston shows me the wet floors, the soggy carpet, and mold. And yet this working mother of 4 children ages 4 to 13 somehow blames herself. Bankston having to resort to social media for help. Nowhere else to turn, she says.
Somebody hear me. I'm crying out for help for me and my baby.
I can't cook. I don't have a stove. We have no sanitation. We can't wash. I feel like this is all my fault. I feel like I failed my kids because the apartment complex failed me.
Bankston says management at the complex, Oak Forest Apartments in Scottsdale, refused to move the family to a different unit. And the landlord is not commenting about any of this to us. Bankston moved her children to her sister's small home, and she's sleeping in her car. Repairs inside the apartment did finally begin this past Friday, and Bankston says it's worse now. Rats have been coming through the holes that crews punched through the floor. Renters versus landlords, all too common, and attorneys we've interviewed about renters' rights here in Georgia all say that renters should document everything, which Precious Bankston has done, either for reimbursement claims later or to get out of a lease. Atlanta attorney Christopher Stanton this past January.
You can say that your landlord has constructively evicted you if the property is no longer habitable.
Bankston says it's like she's trapped, in part because her rent here is subsidized by HUD.
I can't afford to get out here and pay 3 times the rent. I can't. I'm trying to do better. I've been working since I was 15. I feel like I have failed. I feel like the system has failed me. I feel like I have failed my kids.
As of Monday night, Bankston was still trying to find out from her landlord when her apartment would be repaired and put back together so her kids can move out of her sister's and she can move out of her car.
Talking about sis and her 4 kids living in squalor, talking about, I'm calling for anybody to help me. I'm calling for Channel 4. I'm calling for Channel 5. I'm calling. Listen, you did that to yourself. You did that to yourself. And I'll never, ever, ever. First of all, I mean, there is a thing called a slumlord, but even if they slumlord, you don't have to be a dumb tenant. You can always leave.
Right.
They slumlords, you a dumb tenant. Why? Because you staying. You have to have respect and love for yourself. And if your landlord is refusing to do things, he got you in there with sewage water, he got you in there without a sink, he got you in there, and it's been months and months and months, and you continue to stay there and pay your rent, that's on you. That's on you.
Yeah.
You don't get to have pleasurable enjoyment, because another thing is, and I'm not sure if it's a legal term or not, but I'm pretty sure I heard it before. You don't get pleasurable enjoyment. I mean, even though it supposedly, the sink was bad, and I'll tell you why I say supposedly in a minute. No sink, leaks, mold, all this other stuff. But I bet you and your kids had pleasurable enjoyment out of that house because you didn't leave. So you was in there watching TV, cooking dinner. Even if you ordered out, you ate dinner in there, you studied in there, you probably danced around in there. You had 30 days, probably had company over there, friends over there, the whole shebang bang. During the course of a 30-day period, you had pleasurable enjoyment of that property. So it can't be as bad as you making it seem. I'm calling up for this, I'm calling up for that. No, you should have called a hotel for yourself. You should have just left. Because when it comes to rent, it's like, and again, it's just like with during the course of the story that I was watching, the guy, it was a lawyer that came on there. He said you could say that the landlord, I think it's called constructively evicted you, because he made it so the property wasn't livable, so you had to leave, right?
Right. I saw him. Yeah.
So you should have did that. You should have left. Why are you staying there and making videos and all that? Why don't you just be a G about it and leave? Because that's what you're doing. And she's in the video. She's saying, I let my kids down. I let myself down. I did. Yeah, you did all of that. You did all of that. Now I ain't even gonna go as hard as pink book lessons was going in on her, because she started breaking down her life. Like, we just talking, I'm just talking about tenant, landlord. She started breaking down her life. She was basically saying, like, listen, you should have thought about all that before you had all them kids. You know, and, and another reason why I don't, like I said, I kind of don't believe, I kind of think some of it is maybe she put some sauce on it, because, you know, like we were talking about earlier, these are, you know,
government funded housing.
So most of the time you got to deal with some kind of inspection, some kind of inspector, somebody is coming out to represent the interests of the people who are paying your rent, because again, she was on HUD housing, whatever that is. So that means she's paying little to no rent. So maybe that's why she chose to stay. But normally they send somebody out to look at that property, and it's not just going to be like that for 8 or 9 years and nobody doing anything. But then again, she's in another state, so I don't know. I can't speak on that. But what I would say in this case is she should have left instead of making videos, instead of keeping her kids in filth and squalor and exposing them to mold and all the other things that she had to complain about. You should have left. That would have solved the whole problem. You just leave. Go find some place else to stay. Stop worried about, it's hard to find rent. It's hard to find. You're never, ever going to make a landlord do something that they don't want to do. But what you will do is you will muddy the water. So at some point, when you least expect it, because what people don't understand and they don't know is that when you're a landlord and you're renting to people, time is different for you. A month goes by like that for you. It's over. But it's not like that for them, because, you know, they work in, you're working too, and I'm not saying it like I'm trying to like it's like tennis
down people.
I'm not downing anybody. I'm not doing that. But what I'm saying is they're working, they're coming up with electric and gas and bills, just like the landlord is. But that month goes by a whole hell of a lot faster for a landlord than it seems like for a tenant. So 3 months down the road, you think everything cool, you done won. I made him get this fixed, I made him get that fixed, and if something else happened, I'm gonna do that, and I ain't gonna pay him no rent. But by that time, things that cooled off for you. But now he maybe ain't never cooled off for him, and he give you your eviction joint. Like, I'm not gonna be renewing your lease. Or let's say you had a year-long lease. When that year is up, it'll be very, very easy for a landlord to be like, "Oh, here you go, 30 days notice."
Fix it up for you.
Right.
Yep,
there you go.
Fix it up for the next tenant.
Right.
Yep.
And you done went and called all that hubbub over nothing. So,
and here's my thing. You did what you did. You went straight to social media. Like, it's like these females feel like that's the end all be all. Let me go to social media. Let me go to Cash App. Listen, why didn't you fight that hard for your housing? Why didn't you call somebody? Why did not Channel 6, not Channel News, HUD housing? That's why I think the whole thing is a scam. That shit would never enter my mind to go on social media and tell people my business. Because to complain about the shit she complaining about, you gotta tell people your business. And like I said earlier, you open yourself up to all kind of ridicule and other people's opinions, like mine. You a sad ass sorry excuse for a fucking mother, because you talking about how you live here and this is, but them braids cost like $250, $200, $300. Them ain't no run of the mill CVS eyelash. Them are mink eyelashes. You know how much them Johns cost, Don? Like $25 a pair. But you on social media talking about you need housing for you, and you threw your babies in it to use your babies to get sympathy from people. I have no sympathy for her, none. That's just my opinion. I have no sympathy for her. You can take that whole video and shove that shit up your ass. Go through some shit. What makes you feel like it's people out here who really fucked up, Don? Who put a, GoFundMe because they lost their children. They lost things that wasn't their fault. You sitting on public housing talking about, there's no way I could afford regular rent without their help. But stop having fucking babies. Stop letting niggas run up in you like that. And don't tell me you ain't them niggas living with you. What did any of them do? You got their children to get their kids. Call their fathers. Hey, listen, I'm going through some stuff till I get this. I don't know her situation, but anything, the point I'm trying to prove, anything would have been better than you going on social media. We was raised in a different time. I'm cut from a different cloth. Like, we was raised up, listen, it's happened, you figure that shit out. If you don't have no like, it's times that, of course, both of us have been through things. Ain't no sense in calling him because he can't help me. They would if they could, but they can't help me. I got to figure this shit out. And that's nothing for us. Something happened, oh, well, I'll figure this out. How I'm going to do this. Or I've been through worse. It'll work itself. Whatever you have to tell yourself and get through what you have to get through. I have no sympathy for these young girls who get on here, half-ass mothers, having 16 babies, and then want people to come up out their pockets and help them. Now, listen.
Thanks for listening in while we explore the vast world of entertainment and current affairs. And with just a simple click to subscribe, you'll be invited back to hear just what topic is in the queue. See you next time. Thanks for listening in while we explore the vast world of entertainment and current affairs. And with just a simple click to subscribe, you'll be invited back to hear just what topic is in the queue. See you next time. Thanks for listening in while we explore the vast world of entertainment and current affairs. And with just a simple click to subscribe, you'll be invited back to hear just what topic is in the queue. See you next time. Thanks for listening in while we explore the vast world of entertainment and current affairs. And with just a simple click to subscribe, you'll be invited back to hear